you simply wouldn't believe how bad I am at tying knots. That's what you're looking at, and that's how it's set up. That is so cool, but so not great, right? I would think so. Basically, today I'm going to cover gaining clarity, and another thing, not having that clarity so that you represent yourself in a very false manner to be able to place your blame on somebody else. And it just keep talking and telling your story and justifying everything. Selling yourself not for what you're worth, your past, your story, crafting something up so it's a delicious treat. Man, today, just one conversation, man. Today is August 4th, 4:29 p.m. And I'm doing this a little earlier than usual, okay? I want to be able to do this around 3 p.m. when I need a break from my routine and to just do something else, get more in synchronicity with myself, and then get back to work. I think that's a good time, so we're going to try and make that happen. Of course, not just that, everything else in my daily life we got to make happen. So I got to write down each and every single action as for how I'm going to be able to obtain that result, and do it with consistency and persistency in this dedication. Now, I don't know much about baseball, but I do know that when you hit it out of the park, that means there's no turning back. So what I want to be able to do is have a no turning back scenario for my life. And I really think that once you gain clarity in what you're doing, how you're going to be able to do that in that process, that's when you really get serious, because you start desiring achievable results. And then that desires met with belief or faith, for that matter, will be able to turn and manifest into reality. That's when you start to really bring into your subconscious that being, because you're consciously aware of what you want persistently, and then you persevere, having that discipline and consistency and that dedication. Here is where you burn the ships, no turning back type of mentality. And I want that mindset to be able to achieve my dreams. So, this is what I'm going to do. I'll lay it out for you. Today, I just feel this overwhelming sensation of a need for clarity. And it's been so long, coming up on a year now, that I've done things without pure intentions, without the utmost intention with my time. I've gone ambiguous. I've done this thing, I've done that thing, I've tried, I've played around. But oftentimes I don't actually get the results that I want. In fact, I attract people who are lost, who are often creating so many stunts to be able to represent themselves in a way that they're not, and then artificially tweak things, their story, their truths, and then they come off and turn it around on you when you're like, okay, I want to be able to help you, but I can't. And they place that judgment, that blame onto you. For what reason, I don't even understand. So once you start taking responsibility for your own emotions and you gain that clarity, that why, that purpose, that drive in who you want to be, and then you start coming up with a process as for how, then you can't blame it on other people as for getting what you want. It's there. It's clear. And you're going for it. Steer the direction, angle, tiny degrees at a time, and eventually you will get there. So don't give up on yourself. Just understand that in this vicinity, say, I'm going to use the baseball field for reference, although this is not a very good reference, okay? I like the ocean and the treasure on an island reference better, but we'll do this. Say we're trying to hit the ball out of the park, and we're trying to get it to this destination. Now, once you hit it out of the park, it's gone, and there's no turning back, right? So if you want to be able to get to what you desire, get what you want in life, then you just got to keep practicing. But the more you practice doesn't mean the closer you're going to get to that result. So if you keep practicing and you're batting and you're hitting that way 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 and you're even hitting backwards, you could go in any unspecific direction. But the more clear, I got to be able to hit a killer home run right there over by that blue trash can, and I actually want it to make it inside of that trash can. Then you're going to see that desire and that belief and the actual process of putting in the work to be able to make that happen, you're going to be able to reach that destination. It's just a matter of time at that point because you're doing it and you're not being ambiguous. You want that result, therefore you create it and you manifest it in your life. And that's what I need to do. I need to get very clear on who I am. Of course, I have a very big idea from all the faults and stupid things that I've collected over this past year, and of course, the past 19 years. The most clear I've gotten is in this past year. I literally declared on July 23rd that I would stop messing around and I would commit to my growth. I told that to my friend Oatmeal. So if I really want to take this seriously, then not only do I have to retain the relationships that I create that are positive and in the right mindset, but also have to obtain new ones and commit to them. I think if you don't reframe it in a manner where things aren't working out for you because of those people, then you're going to win. You don't judge the market. You don't judge the market. You judge yourself for not being good enough for the market. And I think that's where Gary V really hits it off. So yesterday I was doing a video on Gary Vaynerchuk and a little bit about that mindset and mentality. He's trying to remove judgment, that barrier that we all have, that we block ourselves from taking full responsibility for our own emotions, is because we're judging other people so much that we're not concerned with what's going on in our own head. So once you can change the way that you feel about that bubble and rearrange, this is my space, this is my conscience. And if I can be able to turn that into a subconscious way of thinking, of not blowing up and throwing up all over everybody else and blaming them for your sickness, then you can really get clear in how you're going to be able to deliver the utmost pure value without hurting other people and making their awareness sick as well. You'll attract the right mind theoried people. So if we can really be able to eliminate judgment, I think it starts with living the example and believing in what you're worth, right? So many people don't value themselves enough to be able to put up a price tag, hey, this is what I want to be able to charge, because they don't believe in themselves for having that worth. So I think it all starts with really knowing who you are, what you're going to be able to do to accomplish having worth in yourself, and sharing that with others. So who, what, how, why, there's so many different aspects and topics of that. But for me to really simmer down here and get real with myself, I have to have faith. So I gotta pray to God and be like, hey God, I need some energy and certainty from you to be able to put myself in the right place. I have to come to terms with myself and really apologize and forgive myself for the traumas, the things that have been holding me back in the past. And then once I can really open myself up to my problems and completely be free and have an improving way of being, then I have a growth mindset. And my mentality is to always improve in every single action and not justify myself as that credible authority. I'm living it and I'm being in my own creative truth. So instead of creating something I'm not, I can create content and document everything that I am. And then I have nothing to worry about because that transparency is with unlimited beliefs and an improving environment that I provide for other people not to have any possible judgment for, because I am walking on the road of the 8-mile dream. So, if you really want to eliminate all those circumstances that you put yourself in, come clean with all your freaking problems, admit to them, and your responsibility to solve them, then the market can't tell you what you suck at. You can't hear them and actually feel them because you already know that you worked on that problem, or you're working on it, or you already solved it. And judgment doesn't exist, you know? We're going to create unity together through positivity because we're deploying empathy, awareness, and transparency. Now remember, that's my acronym. I split it up a little bit, but it's called EAT UP. And I want to be this beacon of hope for the world by deploying empathy, awareness, and transparency to be able to create unity through positivity. So I'll eat up all the good stuff. And I want you to do that too. Acronyms are easier to remember. So if you can formulate certain systems and processes to be able to share your knowledge with the rest of the world, then everything really ties in and convenes and expands inside your brain to be able to turn that into a reality. So, look, if you want reality to be a winning mentality and a winning result, then you have to come to terms with clarity. Clarity is going to be your key go-to for anything that you want to be able to achieve. The reason why I'm not getting what I want is because I'm not clear. I don't have a simple depiction of exactly who I want to be, where that's going to be, in what time, and the actual process of how I'm going to be able to do that. I don't have that laid out. So all these things about why and my purpose, sure, that motivation, that intent, it's great, right? But the what that I need to create, if you don't have an actual explainable process of how you're going to do that, then you don't know what you're doing. Like this airplane flying overhead. This is a distraction. And I get distracted, and I often go in another direction. Look, you gotta have a pure intent from your interior, internal forces, and not the external, to be able to draw you into creating the external result out there. Oftentimes people are tried and true by being attracted to something external that they don't already have because they want to solve an internal problem. Look, if you want to solve an external problem, then you got to come to terms internally here. The external problem is out there. You can be able to solve it, but you can't do that until you start to dominate your own mind. If you can't hold true to your own beliefs, if you can't be so convicted in this responsibility to serve without serving yourself, then nobody's going to buy into your ideas. So if you want to be that beacon of hope, the example for the world, it starts with being clear as for what that would look like, who you want to become, how you're going to get there. The why is an important foundation, but the process, actually knowing how you're going to do that, being able to explain it and articulate it, is what is ultimately going to get you to that what desirable end result that you want to obtain and share with for others to claim. So here is where things get a little mysterious. I don't know what delving into somatic awareness in my body is going to release for me. It's going to create a whole nother life for me, because I am now going to be wanting appropriate health. I am now going to be in a position where I am here to manifest sharing that wellness with others, because I am well. And that's something I've struggled with for quite some time. And moving forward, if I'm going to be a speaker, then I have to have a story. And the story isn't actually made up until you have actual experiences that have composed your life. Your life is a cultivation of these experiences that you grew into. And a culmination of that is what you have to be able to share with the world. All that energy, that enthusiasm of continuing to want to learn something new adds to your story, which nobody can take away from you. That is a power magnet right there. You just keep building it, man. And don't keep building it down below, underground, or deconstructing it. Eventually there's a turning point. What's that going to be? And then how are you going to move it up and build the tallest building, the tallest structure, to be able to see out to the rest of the world and not have to worry about tearing down other people's buildings, because your responsibility is all you've got to worry about. And to be able to help the other people, that's an extra. That's a privilege. That's a bonus. We all have different perspectives, right? So you may not like me because I tell you the truth and how it is. Hopefully I am each and every time, and I'm not misplacing my words somehow. Realistically speaking, if you want to get to where you want to be, you can't be blaming others for it. You absolutely cannot be pointing the finger saying, you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that. And that ain't you. You're better than that. So go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits. And that's all out of order from Rocky Balboa. But what I will say is take responsibility for your own emotions. Know what you want. And be very clear. And go out and get what you want. It's that simple, okay? Now this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work on healing and being true. And I think really once I release some of these things, you're gonna see a new Michael. And I'm excited because I'm not gonna be in an approving mindset. I'm gonna be improving constantly, continuously. And time waits for no one. Time is mercilessly unforgiving. So when you can realize that every waking moment that you have here on this planet, because you're already dead, you're privileged to be alive. So don't waste that time devouring other people's. You share this planet with